Hello and welcome to the Redmen TV. It's player ratings time, and I love the fact that I get to do player ratings, and that's that for this. So we're going to get into it. We're going to start with the goalkeeper. We've got Alisson in goal as Liverpool beat Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1 at Wembley. Yes, yes. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I don't as what we've seen previously in his other 4 appearances for us, but he makes one save from a free kick, which is decent enough. Other than that, I think the defence really made sure that Alisson couldn't get a high rating in this game, and that's actually what you want, isn't it? You want him to do what he needs to do well, but what I did like to see from him this game, and what I saw from him this game, was actually not messing around with the ball. You know, everything was just a little bit quicker, and that's great to see, and obviously that's probably come from the mistake that he's made against Leicester, but it's good to see that he's learned those lessons quickly as well. So, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he played right back for us. I thought he did well. I thought there was times when Lucas Moura was looking to get in behind him. You know, Lucas Moura was sort of popping up all over our back 4 really, and looking to find space in behind. And I thought Trent and Gomez did a great job against both Kane and against Moura on that right-hand side for us. And, you know, as an attacking outlet, I don't think he was really there today. A couple of opportunities, of course. He had that free kick as well that, you know, hit the wall and stuff like that. But Trent, I think, for me, probably a 7 out of 10. No, an 8 out of 10 just from his defensive work, actually. Because, again, he's an important piece in that back 4. And, you know, total throughout the game, we didn't concede many shots. So I think Trent's obviously a big part of that. Joe Gomez, I thought he was absolutely brilliant once again. Thought he stood up to the test of Moura and of Harry Kane. Obviously, he makes that one mistake, doesn't he, where it's a poor pass. But other than that, you know, he was feeding the ball into Firmino's feet. He was good in possession of the ball. But equally, when he had to sprint against Lucas Moura, he did really well. He had that one where he nearly tackled him and Moura gets a shot off and it just hits the bottom of the post. That was the only time really that he looked uncomfortable in a defensive sense. So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 because it's a hard place to go and you know, a hard place to perform as a centre back against that front 2, and he's done really well. Van Dyck again, I think, you know, for me he was absolutely superb. Imperious is the word that I always seem to use when describing Van Dyck. He covers for Gomez when Gomez makes that mistake. I think that's massively important, and he just leads that line so well. So I'm going to give him probably let's give him an 8.5 out of 10. And Robertson, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 as well. I think, again, you know, going forward, he was slightly better, I think, than Trent Alexander-Arnold, in my opinion, anyway. And defensively, he was just as solid. Even when the introduction of Lamela late on, you know, didn't seem to cause Robertson too much trouble. Although, obviously, Lamela does score, but obviously that was from a corner and stuff anyway. Gini Wijnaldum, again, you know, another performance from Gini where you just think to yourself, where was this against Leicester? I know you were playing in the 8 against Leicester and you're playing the 6 today, and, you know, against that midfield of Winks, of Eriksen and Dembele in the first half, and Dyer, actually, I suppose, at times, I thought Wijnaldum held his own really well. And oh, for me, the game was won in the midfield. We were able to control the game and just utilise our midfielders in a slightly different way to Tottenham Hotspur. We weren't caught in possession at all. Gini Wijnaldum was brilliant, especially first half. You know, he goes and gets that goal first and foremost. That header's absolutely class. The power that he's able to put into that header really surprised me. He breaks that away goal in the Premier League Dyck as well after, what was it, like 58 away performances or something like that. I mean, that's absolutely class that he's able to do that. Another important goal from Gini Wijnaldum. We saw it. He obviously scored away at Roma last season, but different in the Premier League. And, you know, first half, there was times when he was bombing forwards from midfield, and it's not something that we're used to seeing from our number 6. Certainly, it's not something that Henderson's done recently from that 6 role, but Wijnaldum was able to both support the attack and be that sort of linchpin and base for Liverpool's midfield at the same time. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10 for his performance. I really do rate him, and obviously gets an extra point for scoring a goal as well. Naby Keita, again, you know, close for another great performance from Naby Keita. I think this lad is just absolutely superb. I mean, again, he probably should have scored. You know, poor ball maybe from Sadio Mane to him. It goes to his left foot rather than his favoured right foot. He does work the keeper. Form ultimately gets the ball over the crossbar. But, you know, his all-round performance was really good. You know, he was pressing high up the pitch again when needed. needed and when necessary, and he's picking the right places to press. You know, maybe it's a poor touch by a defender, then he breaks out, or maybe goes to the defender's left foot. These pressing triggers, he seems to understand all of them, and he was very, very good. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. James Milner, I thought, was outstanding, and from the three midfielders, I think all-round performance, James Milner's was probably the best. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10, a 9.5 out of 10, I thought. Defensively, at the end, he stood up, some big tackles in. I remember the one on the touchline where he just flies in, and that's like a real captain sort of challenge in like the 93rd minute or something like that. But big tackles throughout the day, big passes throughout the day, you know, looking to hit that space in behind Rose for Mo Salah to run into and stuff, and, you know, a good corner as well, which we end up scoring off the first time, I think it is. Just another big performance from James Milner, and, you know, from Klopp's first game, he's the only player who started the game against Tottenham, the 0-0 in Klopp's first game in charge, and I wonder how many people back then would have actually thought that James Milner would still be in Klopp's side, but just shows you the versatility and the high performance level that James is able to throw in each and every single week. Sadio Mane, you know, some people are a little bit disappointed with his performance. I've been reading a little bit of social media in between my match reaction and this, and for me, Sadio Mane was good in this game. You know, a couple of poor decisions, maybe. Poor decisions, and I'll take the maybe off it. You know, where he probably should have played in Mo Salah, and he was looking to shoot on his left foot when he probably shouldn't, and he does that turn, and he hits it one on the left foot and the long range on the left foot. But ultimately, he was effective. He gets the ball into the box where Bobby Firmino ends up scoring from, and ultimately they weren't able to pick him up from that sort of number 10 position, which he's kind of rotating into at times throughout the game. But he was equally as effective when he was going on the outside and looking to bring the ball across the goal. So yeah, a couple of times where you think, oh, that's not great, but ultimately he's getting into those positions, and I think sometimes we say about other players, oh, he's in there, he's getting those chances, and he was scaring that back line, and ultimately that's what was effective for us. So I'll give him an 8.5 out of 10. Roberto Firmino, I thought, was outstanding, up there with James Milner for man of the match for me. Another 9 out of 10, best performance of the season so far for Roberto Firmino. He gets the goal. I'm surprised he didn't do a no-look finish from on the goal line, but maybe he was just wanted to get that ball into the back of net as quickly as possible. But it was his all-round game. It was the fact that, you know, when he's dropping deep, you got Mo Salah and Sadio Mane dropping in behind him, linking up play, he's winning the ball back, he's pressing, he was just everywhere today. Absolutely superb. 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, sorry, for him and Mo Salah. I'll give him an 8.5 out of 10. Again, you know, he was in those areas where you'd expect him to score, and I think certainly the chance first half, I think it was first half anyway, you know, you are confident and fully. He was really good. I'll get into some of the comments in and understand why he was taken off and taken down the tunnel. So Jordan Henderson, good solid performance. Didn't shine in any way, shape or form, but put his foot on the ball, played the ball back to centre halves, played the ball to full backs, did exactly what you wanted when you're trying to hold on to a lead. So probably just a 7 out of 10 for Jordan. Daniel Sturridge, 6 out of 10 for Sturridge. You know, he put himself about a little bit, you know, more that like, I'm going to press here a little bit. I'm going to try and press, but not really going with the same sort of 110% that maybe a Bobby or a Mane were going at. But you know what, he does all right, and yeah, not a bad performance from Sturridge. And finally, Joel Matip. I like the fact that we're in a world where we can put Joel Matip on, but I definitely felt like we defended better without Joel Matip today. And listen, it's a tiny, small sample size, I suppose. 6 out of 10 for him. We've got a yellow super chat from Jack O'Shea. Thank you so much. Great result. Having watched this fixture at Anfield in February, it feels much better to come away with the win, and it does feel so much better to come away with the win, because we know that that's going to be a tough place to go this season. You know, don't know how many more games Spurs are going to have at Wembley, but Spurs playing at home, wherever their home is always going to be a tough game. And, you know, to be a few points ahead of Spurs this early on in the season is absolutely brilliant. It probably sets us up. It's a good barometer of where we are as a side. You know, they go and beat Manchester United 3-0. Listen, we dominated Spurs in that game, and don't let the late goal make you think otherwise. We absolutely smashed them, and they didn't really have any opportunities throughout that game until the 90-odd minute, and it is what it is. Tom, have you got some comments for me, mate?
Yeah, I asked who people thought was their man of the match. A lot of people saying James Milner, but Dolphin Godfather says Bobby. He was always involved in the press and everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's right, and it's probably reflected in my player ratings as well. I've given Milner and Bobby Firmino both 9.5s, and I think that, you know, what we saw today was a really fit Bobby Firmino, and I wonder whether his pre-season is now over, and what we're going to see is a guy who has the ability to play for 70, 80, 90 minutes at the level that we expect from him. I think, you know, the type of team that we're coming up against, obviously, I think Tottenham, being a possession side themselves, always being able to press them higher up the pitch, sort of highlights and showcases Bobby's talents a bit more. Whereas, you know, for example, we get the ball against West Ham United, we've got 70% possession. There's no really space for him to go and chase the ball down because we've got so much possession. So it's definitely these type of games where Bobby tends to stand up. It's not that he doesn't do it, it's just that the team isn't allowed to play in the same way. And against a good side like Tottenham Hotspur, you can see his talents. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Him and Milner were my sort of two man of the matches. I couldn't split them, to be honest with you. I thought they were both absolutely brilliant. You got one more for me, mate?
Rav D says he didn't like that Matip sub at all.
Yeah, again, you know, something I referenced just a minute or so ago. I think defensively we look so much more solid with Gomez and Trent, and Gomez still does well at right back, but it's just, had we gone on and won that 2-0, I don't think it would have been an issue and no one would have been talking about it. And I don't think he was involved in their goal anyway. But, you know, fundamentally something changes when you move your full-back and you move your other centre-half, and the chemistry that's been there for those 4 games wasn't quite as on it, and then Tottenham had a little bit of steam behind them, and it made it a little bit more difficult for us. So maybe Matip wasn't the right one, but, you know, if Klopp's expecting balls to start getting launched into the box and Kane's a good header of the ball, you can understand maybe why Matip's put in there. But I do tend to agree with that one. Liverpool versus everybody. Gomez had some great moments as well, though. I think he's replying to Liam M, who said Gomez is being found out quickly, commits and just gets skinned 90% of the time. And I don't think that's quite true. I agree with Liverpool versus everybody. I think he did largely good stuff. When you come up against top strikers and top players, it's very difficult to be a defender. You know, there's not many players in world football that stop 100% of the attacks 100% of the time, and you know, it is a difficult position for Gomez, but he'll learn from this. He'll get better again. He's now played as a centre-half against Harry Kane and Lucas Moura, 2 strikers who offer both different things, and ultimately Kane didn't really have a sniff in that game, and that's down in part to the defence and in part to Joe Gomez. So listen, it's been an absolute pleasure doing the show today. We've got that instant match reaction coming up. Me and Paul are going to sit down, we're going to chew the fat on this game. It's going to be a free show on YouTube, but it is the precursor to the flagship show from the redmentv.com, and that is the final word, where we'll look into this game an hour long, and then we've got stats and tactics coming up as well. Then we've got the focus on PSG. I mean, there is so much good content on the website now. Listen, I've been here talking to you for 8 years. I'm telling you, it's worth £5 a month. And if you trust me and you like me and you believe me, then get over to the website, give us an opportunity to show the content that we produce is top draw, and you will not regret spending just £5 a month. It's a pint. And yet you're able to support us in our endeavours and in our analysis of Liverpool and our support of Liverpool Football Club. If you like me, trust me on this one, it's absolutely worth £5 a month. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Redmen TV on YouTube. We're so close, about 250 subscribers away from 300,000, and then we've got something great lined up if we're able to pass that mark as well. 103 million views on YouTube, says Redmen TV.